Welcome, everybody. I'm on again, another random broadcast, podcast. And as I always say, I never know when my ancestors want me to get up and do some chit chatting. We're going to definitely deal with some numerology tonight. Anybody that happens to tune in, please like and share and subscribe. I didn't put it out for just subscribers, put it out to the general public this evening. So you can come on at any time. Would like to definitely stay in line and deal with some questions about numerology, questions about dream symbols, and also questions in general that may cover some other areas, such as meditation. I'm going to also include uh, a few announcements, especially for those of you who may happen to live out here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Many of you know that I'm affiliated with Resident Essentials, located pretty much on the east side at Eubank Boulevard Northeast, just above the intersection of Eubank and Candelaria. On Saturdays, I'm there at 12 noon to 1 p.m., teaching my Creative Path Work meditation series. If you want more information, look in the description here, and you can email me anyway at iam.circleofgrace1 at gmail.com and get pertinent information in regards to that. Also, uh, I want to let most of you know so that it will be here when people come back later that, excuse me, you could also, I want you to be aware of that I am planning another course. Now, I have tons of courses, so some people are taking them with me privately right now, and I have other individuals who want to receive things in group format, such as my new book, The Key to Life is Numerology. Now, I'm working on that course right now. I'm just giving people time to pick up the book from Amazon.com. Also, it gives you more than enough time if you go to my website, which is I'll put up here later, which is www.circleofgrace1.us. Then you'll be able to scroll through the section called Seeker's Journey with myself, Brother Francis. And then you can scroll through there and you'll pick up on the courses, various courses that I'm teaching with their prices. Right now, the course for numerology will be about in the $400 range. There'll be a early bird special, but I don't plan on teaching this course. As they say, I follow my ancestors. So I don't plan on teaching this course until around Wednesday night, February the 1st. But I'm going to ask people starting sometime next month, November, December, and also early January, which one of the weeknights you would like to be in a group format. I know that I'll probably have two groups going on. That means one will be perhaps on a Monday night, another one could be on a Wednesday night, or one group could fall on a Tuesday night, and one group could fall on a Thursday night. This will be dedicated for the numerology course. It will probably be anywhere from 10 lessons, and I may do them back to back, meaning each week there's a lesson, or I might do them every other week. And the reason for that is it gives people enough time to really absorb the information. Plus, we have personal life situations that go on, and sometimes that gets in the way of your studies, and that's okay. So I want people to be able to comprehend that and have an opportunity to feel that they're not being left out. People who pay for the course or any of my courses, classes, as well as my free enrichment training classes that go on once a month on the second Tuesday, people know you get a copy of the video session. So what went out live, you get a copy and you can review. You can hear the data again that you receive, and you can hear some of the interaction with other people who were in the free training class with you. And that will be the same, hopefully, for the numerology class when I do this in February. I'm targeting right now February the 1st, which is a Wednesday evening. Probably will be about 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The class will go for about 90 minutes and no more. They will be recorded live. And again, for people who are paid into that 10, 13-week course, they will receive at the following morning, you will get that video within a day or two so that you can replay this information and take plenty of notes. Um, I'm looking for no more than 15 people to teach. 10 to 15 will be sufficient in a live training like this from week to week or every other week. And again, in the classroom that's live, you get to hear everybody's take, everybody's questions. I like to get some questions so I can get the feedback to you. This is going to be very important for people. I thought about putting this numerology course together, and then people pay for the course, and then I send out the pieces, each segment week to week. But I'd rather teach it live. So I'm giving people plenty enough time to get the book, and this way we'll start. I'll probably give some short introductory classes for free in November and December and the upper part of January. That way, it gives people plenty of time. And then, if you're paying for the course ahead of time, which I'm not taking any funds for that until within 2 to 3 weeks of the actual kickoff date, which means I will take those funds, early bird funds, in the month of January. Then we add that towards your course. But interesting factor, you're going to save about 103 bucks. So that's going to be good for you. Whoever takes early fee, get it out to me. But I'm planning to do this first group on the Key to Life is Numerology as a group training course on Wednesday, February the 1st. And we may do it as an intensive, go right through week like that. I'm planning some free information that you'll get also in audio format. Uh, who we have here? Yes, how you doing? So people will get information coming in the numerology course, and I offer this too in my other courses. Toward the end, you get some free tips, things to remember to look out for when you're dealing with names. More than likely, when I teach this course, I'm going to stick to the modern numerology method, which is just using the numbers 1 through 9, but we'll be able to throw in some of the compound numbers because people are born on compound birth date numbers and there's information there. So it's good to have the book and you'll be able to work with it. So again, I'm planning to teach and look for anywhere from 10 to 15 people to be coming through and participating. And I have a special Zoom link that I'll send out to each person. Maybe I'll send it out as a reminder every week, and then you'll be able to join. It's important. We get about 90 minutes in. It will be about 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when it kicks off, and we get about 90 minutes in. So that will be important. Again, if you have anybody that wants to tune in, tell them to do so, and they can come on in tonight. What I want to really do is I don't want to spend too much time giving numerology readings. I enjoy doing that, but I would like to answer some of your questions about some of the terms that you hear in numerology, whether you've heard them from me or you heard them from Lloyd or Lloyd's other students. I'm talking about Lloyd Strayhorn, who was the pioneer of being out there in New York City, up in Harlem, for so many years, teaching numerology and astrology together, where he became a astronumerologist. And if you have any concepts of it that you would like to share, put it in the chat. This way, other people can tune into it. Also, I want to talk about dreams. Dreams are very, very important. Um, as I do this, now, this is not like I'm on every Monday night. I'm just following what the ancestors tell me to do. which means I might want to do it, but they will tell me when to do it. And usually, when I'm listening through a meditation and they say, okay, go now, then I get on and I do what I got to do. So at times, I'll be also talking about maybe crystals. I'll be talking about crystals and meditation, colors and meditation, things like this to assist you along your way. And I'm also podcasting because not too many people can jump on the second Tuesday once a month and take the free training intensive training class, and sometimes there's a different topic each time. Like for next week, which will be the 12th, I believe. Yeah, October the 12th, Tuesday, October the 12th. I'm going to pop on and I'm going to talk about psychic development, how to develop your psychic skills, and any talents that you have. I will tell you though, meditation is the way to go because it gets you to go deep within yourself so you can pull on the resources that you already are born with. See, so some people have them, they just use them in different ways. And so I want to be able to assist you in that. And again, if you have any questions, I don't have all the answers, even though I've been on my path 48 years. I don't have all the answers, but I definitely like to go through my brain and bring those bits of information out to you. I don't know how long I'm going to be on tonight, maybe about an hour. I came on a few minutes after 9, so it's about coming up on 12 minutes. So I'll try to stay on as long as possible and answer some of your questions that you might have. And these are some general and basic questions about numerology, about meditation. Those are my fortes. Dream analysis is another forte that I have that I work with, and I utilize it all the time. So, like I say, if you happen to live out here in the city of Albuquerque, New Mexico, like I do, you can join me every Saturday at 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. for a small fee, 1 hour class on my Creative Pathwork meditation series. And I bring in a lot of different ideas and concepts and some of the basic things that you need to know about meditation so that you have a better meditation, whether it's in a group format or being at home solo. So I want people to be able to feel free to ask me those questions. And again, if you don't feel comfortable putting the question here in the chat room, you could always email me at iam.circleofgrace with the number one at the end at gmail.com. And within 24 hours, I get back in touch with you. Yes, you have a life path number 7. Okay. Lone Star Music. I just saw it. So that's if when you're adding all the numbers together, meaning the birth number for the birth month, the number for the birthday, and the entire year. Now, usually some people like to just use the last 2 digits, but it's best if you give the 19 along with the rest of the number. That way, your full destiny or life path number can be properly calculated. And now, there's nothing wrong if people take shortcuts, but make sure the shortcuts work. Okay, that's very important because if the shortcuts aren't working, and what I mean by that is sometimes, let's say, if other people who are working in this field of numerology are studying. Okay, so the 16, and then the 7 comes out of the 16. The 16 is the background number. The 7 is the key that helps solves it. Now, what you want to know about the number 16 is this: that karmic debt number is also meaning that you are not necessarily struggling. There's two sides to everything. Like you got the negative and you got the positive, or magnetic and electrical. Um, People with the 16 life path number like on there, one of the things you got to watch out for is being involved in triangular situations. What I mean by that, if you have some friends and they see you as a friend, when they go through difficulties in opposition to each other, they'll try to pull you to someone's side, and you're going to have to stay right down the middle. There could be some also situations that pop up. Okay, there will be some situations that pop up where you could be in a relationship where one or the other might be drawn to somebody else outside of the relationship. So sometimes people who have the 16 as something to learn, you have to learn how to clearly see when someone is drawing you into a relationship, or you might have that kind of vibration. It's all about just clearing your emotions, how you feel about yourself, how you raise your self esteem, and how to know when to be around certain people and when not to be around certain people. So, if you have people that have a tendency to draw you into a situation, then that can be difficult. So, let me look at this just to clarify it. March 7th, 1986. Yeah. So now you can look at it as breaking it all the way down. The 19 itself is a 1, and then the 16 is a 15. So there is a 16 there. There's also a 25 back there too. 25 is about seeking the truth. So in your situations, you want to seek the truth all the time. That's very important. If you're not looking for the truth, then there's going to be a lot of hangups. Also, the people that can be connected to you, they have to be willing to look at the truth as well. And if they're not, that's causing some frictions. 16 is also a Mars kind of number, so there might be some arguing going on. The high side of the 16 actually carries the principle of grace. Grace is in within every situation. Grace is sort of like the energy that saves you at the last minute. So that peace can enter your life. Also, 16 means follow your gut feeling. It's the flash of intuition. So if you're not following the flash of intuition, that gut response on certain patterns of behavior between yourself and others, then you might be missing something. So it'd be important to really pay attention if you're feeling red flags in situations, business deals, marital situations, romantic situations, friendship situations, and business. Sometimes things like that pop up in the business. I knew I should have dropped some money in that. Now I gotta like get that money back, or I have to do some research. So when you got the 16, whether it's a birthday number you're born on or a number you came here to learn about, you have to do the research. 16 does the research. Sometimes may do it redundantly, but when it's done, it's just making yourself more comfortable in the understanding what kind of personalities that you have around. And then you got that 7. So 7 means to delve into the spiritual, get more wisdom, delve into the metaphysical side, see how you're spiritually made to be able to go through a life situation. Now, check this out. You also have the numerical day 7. So you have the raw digit 7 there. That also tells you that you already know what to do. You see, you already know how to make things clear, how to make things better. If you add those digits together, if you add the 7 to the 16, you get 23. 23 means you will survive most of your partnerships and relationships. Business wise, you'll come out on top. Okay, because you're there to thrive, just not survive, just not there just to make it from day to day. You're there to make it on the long haul. Okay, you add the two sevens together, that's 14. That's talking about balance and moderation. That's very, very important to have balance and moderation in your own life. Now, that 14, both of those numbers will give you a 5. So, in order to make your life path number, which I call the destiny number, and your birthday number work, is for you to get into the communication side of things. So if you're dealing, again, business relationships, marital relationships, and things of that nature, you're going to have to articulate your thoughts and your feelings very clearly. Communicating your thoughts and feelings up front will be very important. Now, if you already do that, that's what you're going to have to get from other people. You're going to need other people to be that way toward you. And then you don't want to expend too much energy. Some people like to pick your brain when you have that outside number five, or you got the seven in either position. Everybody's picking your brain to see what you know. They may already know. They just want to know what your viewpoint is on something. So you might want to sometimes look at that. These karmic debt numbers. Another karmic debt number is the 14. And then, of course, you got the 13. 13, 14, 15, and 16 are considered the karmic debt numbers, or the heavier lessons within those set of numbers running from 10 to 19. So, for instance, the 13 is about change. Okay, it's about transformation. But what's the downsides? Refusing change, refusing growth. 13 is a rebirth number. But the downside is that I don't want to birth a new idea. I want to stay where I'm at. I want to be fixed. I want to hold on. The 13 is like a Scorpio number. 16 is Mars that rules Aries and Scorpio. So you imagine if you had those numbers together producing that 16. Then you have the 14, which is learning how to use balance and moderation in everything that you do. You kind of have it there on the outside. You got a 23 and you got a 14. That's within the series of the five. So you'll be able to thrive using your how you choose to communicate with other individuals. And then the other karmic number is the 15. 15 is sort of like a Capricornish number. It means that sometimes people hold on to carnal nature or desires too much. 16 has an addiction. 15 has its addiction sexually. 16 has the addiction that can go sexual. It can go into drugs. It can go into just drama, period. Drawn to that kind of personality. Sometimes 16, like the root number seven, feels like they got to fix everybody. Don't try to fix everybody, just fix yourself. If you don't have to fix yourself, if you're not broken, then you don't have to fix yourself. Then it's about just maintaining balance. That's one of the pure things about these numbers. Okay. And, the more you study numbers, I've been doing it like I'm in my 48th year. So I always tell people there are some different angles and there's some different systems. I used to do three or four other kind of systems in numerology, but I couldn't contain all that information. And then I would have to walk around with all these books and charts. So you just try to find what works best for you. As you work it, as you get comfortable, then you can add on. So I always tell a lot of people, don't try to cut it off too much. Try to get some of what's considered now traditional sides of numerology, but add other things in. Like if you use the Chaldean, my book gives both the modern numerology alphabet and the modern Chaldean numerology alphabet. And then there's information that connects to some of the tarot cards. That's where the thing about the karmic debt comes from. That's actually from the major arcana of the tarot cards. Number one is there's 22 paths or 22 keys. Number one is the magician. Number two is the high priestess. Number three is the empress. Number four is the emperor. See, number five gets into what they call the hierophant. The number six is the lovers. The number seven is the chariot. The number eight is the strength card. The chariot is Cancer. The strength card there is Leo. The twins or the lovers, that's Gemini. See, so it's taking you in that line. And that's another way to pull the information out. Yeah, that's the day I'm born on. I'm born on the 16th, which is a seven. When I first started doing it, I was just sticking to the seven, but I was having those experiences. I had friends around me who were married or who were dating. Okay, And I was probably in a relationship, and there was some things going on, people sending signals back and forth until you get caught. And I said, I don't want to be there anymore. So I had to learn how to move and put myself in a higher vibrational bracket. And then I delved into, that was in college. Then I delved into meditation more and got myself cleared. And then I said, okay, I can work with this number 16. It's not really a bad number. It's just that when you have it, through no fault of your own, you're drawing in people who sometimes carry the negative aspect of that 16. So you might have to see it. I saw it as a lesson to be learned and how to stay on the high side of the 16. So, for instance, the the 16th major arcana card is the tower card. If you're looking at say the weight rider deck or some of those tarot decks that fit along those lines, you'll see two people falling, a man and a woman, both of the queen and the king, falling out of a tower. The lightning has struck the top of the tower and knocked it off. The top was the crown, and then all of this light and energy comes out. So yeah, crash and burn and learn. But hopefully, before you burn, you learn, or while you're burning up, learn. Yeah, but it doesn't have to see. And so you're a Pisces. I'm a Pisces. I'm March 16th. You're March 7th. When I used to read some of the just basic astrological books on Pisces, it was always negative. They say that Pisces is the dustbin of the zodiac. Why? Because it catches everybody's thoughts, everybody's feelings. But then the way I looked at it is, well, Pisces is the end of the cycle. So Pisces is like the accumulation of all the other signs. We would understand how Libra is. We would take tools from Libra, Scorpio, Capricorn, Aquarius, and go all the way back to Aries and incorporate it. Yeah, to incorporate it and then turn it around. Yes, yep, Stormo, yep. So, but as I told, if you listen to the last interview I did with Lloyd, and also in my book in numerology, toward the end of the book, I make a bold statement. My ancestors wanted me to. I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to start anything. But what I say in there is this: all numbers, all birth date numbers from 1 to 31, all of them are master numbers. What I said though, they're master keys. What is a key? You use the key to unlock a door. You use the key to turn on an engine, right? You use a key to open a door to new information. And the reason why I stated that is because everybody that's made clamor and said, I want a number to master number 11 in my name. I want it to work out that way. I want the 22 to work, to be in my name, to work out. Well, those vibrations, they're not karmic, but they're just as heavy. So sometimes a person is trying to put a master number in place when not ready for the master number. Then there are people who do the master number well, but then other people feel belittled because that person has a master. I don't have a master number. Now what? You're the master of the numbers that you got because you chose those numbers to come in on the planet with. So you have to figure out what those numbers mean to you. Yeah, we have charts and things, books. Lloyd's got books, but eventually all these books help you delve a little deeper and then you find your path. That's the key. Find your path, see how it works for you. If you happen to be a person that can do numbers and work charts for people, that's great, but you got to be clear about it. You got to be firm. You got to understand what you're talking about. And you got to make sure that you're helping the person with your skills. You're not just laying out information or pulling it from anywhere and you can't help the person solve where they're at. So, that's very important. So, yes, sevens or 16s or 25s, they can help people get where they have to go. They understand all these processes and what a person is going through. Yeah, it's all experience. And here's I remember I didn't meet Lloyd until December of 1978. That's when I met him. And he and I both chose the day in which to meet, which was a Saturday, and it was the seventh day of December of 19. We both kind of chose that. We knew that that was important. But I remember, and this was at the Old Tree of Life bookstore on the number one, West 125th Street off Lenox Avenue, right? And they used to call it, yeah, yes, he's a seven. He's born on the 16th of February. So the seven, those numbers, that store used to be called the University at the corner of Lenox Avenue. So the Tree of Life bookstore back in the day, it was called the UCLA of Harlem. Everybody was in there. Gary Knoll used to come through there talking health and diet. Dick Gregory would walk through there because he was by that time he was a fruitarian. He was doing his thing. And all of these people coming through there talking. And as I met Lloyd, met him in there and got these classes. But I was already doing numerology for about I started in 1974. So I was already doing numerology on my own for 4 years. I just needed some little ins and outs. I didn't know about the pinnacles and challenges. I didn't know about birth key numbers, which was his technique, and a few other things. So you learn, you start, you learn, and you study books. But what I wanted to say is we have an opportunity to learn something all the time. And the Tree of Life bookstore, I must say, was a place where a lot of people can converge and share their thoughts and share their ideas. And I remember I participated in a couple of the psychic fairs there. And at this time, since I was meeting Lloyd in 78, this is 1977, I hadn't met Lloyd yet. I didn't meet him until around the fall of 1977, going into December, and I decided to take a class. But I remember doing a psychic fair, doing the numerology. I was doing tarot at the same time. I was doing dream analysis, and I was doing handwriting analysis. And the funny thing about it was, I was still a young guy. Here I was, 25, 3 years graduated from college, and I never forget there was a guy there by the name of Dr. Armistead, I believe was his name. I forget his first name, but he was really, really thick into astrology. And he used to sit down. He always would make me nervous. Wherever I sat, he was like a couple of tables over. And he wasn't doing anything. He was just sitting there. And when the fairs were over, he would ask me a question. He said, "Yeah, nice to meet you, Brother Francis, Brother F. Revels-Bey. I heard a lot about you." I said, "You did, huh?" He said, "Oh, from a lot of people." He said, "But here's something. How old are you?" I says, "I'm 25." He said, "Oh," he started to laugh. Now, he was like in his 50s, I believe, at that time. He said, "You need some life experiences. You shouldn't even be in this fair." That kind of lit me up. He said, "You shouldn't even be in this fair because you don't have enough life experiences." But he didn't know I had things growing up with an alcoholic father. I had, I had, uncles. I had other family members or people on blocks where I saw a lot of abusiveness. I was seeing stuff up live and personal. He didn't know that, but I understood what he was saying because a lot of the people that were coming up to me, they were like in their 50s, they were like in their 60s. So they would ask me certain questions and I couldn't answer them using numerology. Now, fast forward 48 years later, let anybody that's older than me, I'm 70. Let somebody who's in the 80s come up to me. I got information. Why? Because I have life's experiences. So your life experience is very important. If you're an astrologer, a palmist, a handwriting analysis expert, you have all that life experience to bring into your consultation. Or if you're teaching a class, you can bring all that information in there. Just like a person who studies martial arts, right? How you know the person's a black belt? Because they said so? No, they have to have life's experience that backs up that black belt. Not just fighting in the street, but some wisdom that they gained along the way where they could use the philosophy of what they learned in their life. Philosophy is the science of life, the science of living. So you take what you learn in numerology and astrology and palmistry and you put that into your work. Now you have life's experiences to draw on. Yours, your family, your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers. Yeah, because it helps you explain. Now, here's another thing too. People always ask, do I have to be psychic to do numerology and astrology and dreams, especially numerology and astrology? And what I tell people, no, you are yourself your own scientist and you are an observer. So you have to, and it happens with tarot, observe. Like for instance, if you wanted to know what the Two of Cups meant, look at the card. What's going on in the card? That's how I would teach people. What do you see? Guy approaching a woman with a cup. They're exchanging cups, exchanging vows. He's trying to give her some flowers or some trinkets, and He's looking at what he's giving her. She's looking at what's inside of him. What he's giving is what's inside of him. That's what she's looking at. I used to teach people see it like it's a stage play, and you're going to walk up on the stage, and now you're going to look them up and down. What is their outfits are saying? Are the outfits telling you something? Are the furniture telling? Is the scenery telling you something? You're looking at all of that, and when you start to see it like it's in living color, then it makes sense. It's the same in numerology. If you find out that the number two deals with partnerships, get around people with this partnerships, or you're in a partnership, maybe business wise, maybe within a family. Why? Because all those things that you see with your physical eyes and that you start to calculate in your mind is information about the number two. And there's all kinds of twos. And I mentioned that in my book as well. I call them the rose petals. Your birthday numbers are rose petals, meaning there's 12 kinds of ones, 12 kinds of twos, 12 kinds of threes, 12 kinds of, and so forth. Going up, and there's so many number 30s. Well, there's the 30s in there. So it's 12 30s and it's 12 31s. That gives you a whole new perspective when you're looking at numbers and trying to interpret numbers. And again, sometimes you need all of that information to pull it out so you can utilize it when doing something. Also, if you're an astrologer, the palm reader, the numerologist, you're like a storyteller. So once you have enough life's experiences and you can equate that through a number and know what that means, then now you can tell the story. The numbers are talking to you. I was telling Lloyd and one of his students, Brandon, that not too long ago. I feel like the numbers are talking to me when I'm setting up a chart. I feel like I'm here and the numbers are walking back and forth. And they're saying, but yeah, this person's born on the 14th. Okay, but that's the series of five. That's their birthday number, but that's not their name number. And see, that's another thing. People, I've Lloyd has read people like that too, where they come up and kind of test us, so they give us a different name. And if you're on point that day, you'll know that name is off. That name doesn't even feel like that person, and it might be a letter added into the name. But what the person may not realize is they're adding these values, these vibrations, and may not be able to live it. So that's another important thing too. Just like when you choose a name for a baby, you might be thinking you're giving them the name because you're looking in the book, but the essence, the soul essence, is giving you the name. It's saying it sounds like this, it sounds like that. It starts with an A. In your alphabet, it starts with an A and it's going to end with an R. No, it's not Arthur. Is it Amir? Close, but not it. So now you start listening, right? Because the soul, the energies that are coming with that baby, is telling you what their name is. The best name, the possible name that will work on this plane. So all these things are like taken into consideration when you're dealing with numbers or astrology. You really don't want to rush it, right? Right, Eastern. You really don't want to. If someone is telling you, well, I need you to give me this analysis in 2 weeks, you probably could give them the analysis in 2 weeks. But the thing is this, you need more time. Why? Because you're calculating. You're calculating the natal chart. You're calculating what I guess is progression, solar progression, all of those things. And you want to make sure you're right. Then is where they were born and all of that stuff. If you do that, you're trying to make sure that they're getting the best possible information that's going to make sense to them. Plus, you want to sleep at night. I used to say it all the time to my clients. They said, "Why you take so long to do a chart?" I said, "Well, first of all, my right hand types faster than my left hand. My right hand, I'm right-handed, so I'll be but I'm tap 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 tap. I'm slow, so I need 6 to 8 weeks. But I need the first week to meditate, to get a feeling for what the number might mean. But I don't jump on it. Why? Because sometimes when you're studying these things, you got what is called book knowledge. We all have to start with a book. If you don't have it, if you don't know that you are consciously have it on the inside, yeah, you got to look at books. Not all of us is a walking ephemeris. You got to look, you got to study, you got to check, you got to go back years ago and say, did this happen before? It was the cycles before. I know there's a lot of astrologers out there that they can do that. They can tell you what's going on right now and when the similar vibrations were maybe 100 years ago, 200 years ago, similar vibrations 60 years ago. They could tell you that. And then they can make a positive, we'll call it a positive guess, but it's not really a guess, it's a positive calculation, right? So everything is the same. It takes a lot of work, takes a lot of time, and if you're in it, as they say, in it to win it, you're tired up here. You're tired of looking at stuff. Sometimes you just got to lay everything down, and that's what I wound up doing. Yeah. Now, I'm a person that's been meditating a long time. I would say that your higher self, as we call it, is the one that's telling you, I need you to meditate more. Now, when you start meditating more, you you get a chance to clear out your emotions, clear out some stagnated thoughts, feelings. Um, there might be some residual energy where you might have been upset about something. Whether it's the way you eat, the way you exercise, different personalities and people, you get to replay things that are going on in your mind all the time. So to meditate is to find your center of being. I always say being what, being who. We're not this physical form. This is our earth suit, right? To walk around and to breathe and do that. But inside, there's the host, the true you is seeing things, and that's the one you're trying to get in touch with. That's the one that brings you in total alignment, so you can check your soul path, see what you've studied or been involved, maybe eons ago or now, or parallel universes. Maybe you work and study and see there, and then you bring all this information. So you go within, right? You're putting the left brain together with the right brain. That's part of what that will mean, not just prayer, but you're bringing those halves together where you can have wholeness and balance. Then, once you get really clear, and I mean so clear that you know there's nothing in there and the mind is quiet, now you can begin to see energy clearly around you, passing through and around you. You can recall information very fast. You can dissect that information very quickly, and you can apply it if need to. You'll know who's tuning into you. You'll know when they're tuning into you, which is also a good exercise to do with close family members who are into this at the same time. You both might say, at about to kick it off, you'll say, okay, at 9 a.m., I'm going to be thinking about you. And I want you to tune into me and I want you to feel something that I'm projecting to you, something very simple. And you might start off with, let's say, a color until you both get it down pat. Then you might say in the afternoon, they're going to think on you and send you a color, and you're going to pick up on it at a certain time, what you're feeling. But once you establish that, then try a number, try an image, try a sound. What that does, that opens up your field, right? And it's just not physical. Now you're picking up stuff that's in the ethers. And you can get so good at it that you can go, your mate says, I was thinking about you today. You say, yeah, about 2:30, right? It's, how you know that? I could feel it. I have friends that I connect with so strong. I know when they're tuning in because their face looks this big in my apartment. Their eyes look this big in my apartment. I said, yeah, that's my man Hector tuning in. About 1 o'clock, let me give him a call. And he said, yeah, brother, I was tuning into you. How you doing? Haven't heard from you in a while. Or sometimes you get agitation. I have a guy, he's a longtime friend and client. I knew his mom while he was in the service, and he is worried so much that he is now on the verge of having a little bit of mental illness because all he does is think about his problems all the time. But he's been doing it for 10 years, and I've been telling him, hey man, you need to watch some comedy, you need to read some books, take yourself to a movie, cook yourself a meal. Well, he's in a better setting. He's living in a house where there's a lot of veterans because he served twice. He went in, I think, the army one time, did his time in there, got bored, went and served in the Marines and survived. It came back out. He served twice. But it wasn't that was disturbing. It was all the things happening outside of there. And he worried about it so much that often he says, hey man, I need to talk to you. And I listen to what he's saying without judgment. And I said, did you read something different? No, you know me. I got to worry. I got to have something to worry about. No, you don't. But I understand why you do now because you're constantly doing it. So that's a lesson. Let's not worry too much. If we don't have something to worry about, let's not find something to worry about. As the ancient Kemetic or Egyptian people have said, the universe is mental. Our subconscious is like a reflection of the universe. It's not looking at what's right or what's wrong. It's feeling the weight of the thought, the weight of the image, which happens to have emotional energy that gives it weight. And when that happens, the scales get heavy, right? Boom. What's weighing us down? Worry. Get rid of worry and anxiety. We can start balancing things out. The more that we can balance something out, the better we can have an opportunity to fix it, whatever it is. And we all know, I know my ancestors, especially my late mother and my grandmother, they were my original spiritual teachers. And they used to say, you worry too much. You didn't even cross the bridge. You didn't even cross the street to go to the party yet. Already you worried. But they also understood I was sensing something about to happen at the party, and I wasn't comfortable with it. And then they would tell me, well, describe what you're feeling. And I would go like, I feel like that kid that picks on me every day at school. I feel like they're going to be at that party. I don't want to go to that party. I'm not a fighter. I'm like a big crybaby. I don't want to go there. They said, well, you got to learn how to face your fears. Yeah, but I want to face him. I face him 180 days out of the year in school and then summertime. I don't want to go to the party because he's going to be there. Of course, I lived a few doors down. I would sit on my porch, and there he was going to the party. He didn't notice I was watching him going to the party. What are you saying? When I see that guy Rebels, I'm going to kick his ass. And I'm saying, see, I ain't supposed to be there. You have to pay attention to the gut feeling, but to the heart. So, anybody else has any questions or comments you'd like to make? E Stormo, I like some of your information here. Yes. Yeah, it does. Time gets better because now you know what to say, what not to say. You know, should you say? Sometimes we get information. I know many of you have received it. Sometimes you get information and it's only meant for you. Have you ever experienced that? You've gotten information, but it's only meant for you. You may not realize that until you're in the thick of the research with the information. You're going like, what am I supposed to do with this? That's where meditation comes in, Lone Star music. Then you go, oh, let me meditate on this bit of information I got. It's about a close friend of mine. Am I supposed to tell him? And all of a sudden, that inner party, that higher self party goes like, mm-mm. I gave you that information for you and for you only because you need to study something a little deeply about the person that the information is about. So then you wait and you sit on it, and through the days of the week you might go, but I just want to tell that person, and then you find out why you're not supposed to tell them. Sometimes you might take their lesson from them, right? We all have a little bit of a lesson to learn. So, oh, you're welcome. Sometimes, you might want to help somebody, but they have to go through the situation. But once they go through the situation enough times, what usually happens, they either sink or they swim. What you find out is, if especially let's say with yourself, you find out I'm okay. I didn't need to ask that person. I didn't need to validate my idea of what I wanted to do in my life. All I had to do was just step on the gas and do it. Yeah. Yep. 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 East Stormo. Yeah. Because sometimes you realize, because we all want to help people, but we don't understand that sometimes we can get in the way. And then we're getting in the way, then they're not learning what they need to learn. That's like we go through situations, and I did this when I was younger. I always thought I needed, money. Hey, Murray, how you doing? So I always thought I needed money. I need some money to do this. I need some money to do that. After a while, my older brother go, die. You don't need money. He said, you need to work. I'm not old enough to work. Well, when you get an allowance, save it. So I started saving. Then I realized I didn't need to ask him. I didn't need to ask my friends for money. I had money. But then I started thinking, well, what I want to do with the money. I'd buy a comic book, get excited, then I didn't read it anymore. Buy candy, eat it all up, didn't need it anymore. Had asthma after it. So then I decided, do I really need that? What do I really want? And then it hit me because I was into art. I need to get an art book. I like looking at paintings. I like looking at pictures. Then you get in college and you go to museums, right? High school, you go to museum. Now it's all making sense. Save that money so I can go to a museum and hang out all day looking at master sculptors and painters and different eras of time. That made my day. Going up into Harlem, that made my day. Hanging out every Saturday, like like that was church, and meeting people. Just getting what I needed. Have people, yeah. Sometimes when I say things to people, but a part of me, I didn't realize I'm like a storyteller. So sometimes in my consultations, my spiritual counseling, sometimes I'll bring in quote quote like a story, and they say that's kind of unbelievable. It's not. I actually experienced it. So Even in my teaching, I always tell people I'm a little long-winded because I like to tell a good story when I can feel to interject it. Um, but sometimes you got to give it direct. I've always been a very um, one of my accountants in New Jersey told me one time, your language is too flowery. You need to get right to the point. Well, I tried it one time. I got right to the point. Person still didn't understand what I was talking about. So I had to give them examples. I had to find these examples so it could make sense to them. Now, the ability to pull a story out of thin air, you're not really pulling it out of thin air. You've actually have heard that story before. You probably heard it under a different context, but nonetheless, you heard it. Sometimes you're bringing up stories from another time frame that you remember. Your job is to make it make sense. If you can make it make sense, then it works. Yeah, but to intuit something, play on words, is getting into it. You got to be on the inside. You're the one that has to wrestle with the information. So yeah, it may appear like it came out of nowhere, but it didn't. It came out of somewhere. You just have to find within yourself where that experience is. Many times, and this is what I find, this doesn't have to be for everybody, but many times the quote unquote stories, they are life's experiences, but on a completely different level. There are life experiences on a completely different level. So you might ask yourself intuitively when I got it, did it feel like it dealt with more emotional things or more mental things or more physical, like physical health wise, monetary wise, living condition wise, or is it purely philosophical? Now, you won't know that until you go deep enough into it. But if you're psychically aware, emotionally aware, spiritually aware, all of that, and then you understand who you are metaphysically, and you're beyond these physical things, that story that you picked up out of nowhere, you are on to something. You were on to the frequency with that story, with that energy, and you were able to uh, relate that at the right time. Like Estormo said, sometimes you get information, right? And you want to tell it, but something you hold on to it, and then a couple hours later, you found out why you weren't supposed to share it. Now you can share it, right? Because you see a part of what you got intuitively out in front of you. Now you say, okay, now I can hook this story that I got intuitively with the situation that's going on in front of me. It's just a matter of observation, but it's a matter of self study. And those of us who do the numerology or the astrology, you're the first person. You might look at celebrities, yeah, if you know their date and time. Athletes, if you know their date and time of birth, you can look at it. Even as a numerologist, I was remembering the New York Mets, and I didn't know why I knew this, but I said to myself, the New York Mets, if they got a team, I think they started playing baseball as a team in 1962, right? So a lot of their players were older players from other like American League teams and so forth. And I started thinking, now I didn't know about numerology then, but my mother and them used to say, because they were spiritualists, she said, come 1986, everybody on that team, she reversed the digits, 86 to 68. And she says, if anybody is born close to 68, I'll give them 1961 to 1969. they're going to carry the vibration of pros. The only thing is they might be a little egotistical. Well, what happened? 1986, the Mets, 1969, the Mets won their first World Series. They didn't win another World Series until 1986. That was 19, what, 17 years later. Check this out. In 1986, most of those star players were born in 1962. Dwight Gooden, who was the pitcher, his jersey number was 16. He was a Scorpio. Now, 16 is Mars that rules Aries and Scorpio. I believe he was born on the sign of Scorpio, close to the number 16. So he was wearing a number connected to him. Darryl Strawberry, he was a Pisces. He wore the number 18. In numerology, the 18 is kind of like a Pisces number. If you connect it to the major arcana of the tarot cards, that's the card that represents Pisces or the dream world. And he was a dreamer. So there's things that you can see, numbers. Most players wear numbers that they like. Just like if you watch a football game, I used to always wonder, well, how come those defensive halfbacks got those little tiny numbers, like a one here or a two? And then someone told me because number one, you could depend on that one. Number two, second in command. Number three, you could depend on those. Those are the most important players. I said, very interesting. So there's so many different concepts. There's so many different ways that numbers can be used. Does anybody have anything about dreams? Dreams are equally important. Um, and since Lone Star Music mentioned he felt like meditating more, when you have some dreams, you can't figure them out, use your meditation. Take a moment with meditation and replay whatever you can about the dream in your mind, and you might be able to pull the information out that you're looking for. That's a little key, a little tip. But dreams hold a lot of information. I think some of the modern to ancient shamans, I guess they pronounce, they would say that when you go to sleep at night, that's the real world. That's where you have your out of body experiences. That's where you're experiencing life itself. And when you are in your waking state, that is the world that you dreamt about. Now you're living it, but now it's populated with so many things. Okay, Murray, you're saying RE numerology. Any important dates coming up this month or next week should that you should be aware of next month? Well, it depends. Um, you're born on a numerical day that adds to 10. Okay, and with the sign you're born under, your numbers are like 1, 4, and 8, alternative 2 and 7. Your power numbers would be numbers that add to the 1 in the series of 1, like 1, 10, 19, 28. Those dates would be powerful. The numbers 4, 13, 22, and 31. That's powerful to you. Your alternative numbers are numbers that add to 2 and 7. So you got just about all the numbers in the month, because the dates of the two are the 2, 11, 20, and 29. And then you've got the 7, 16, and 25. So you got almost all the numbers. But your strongest numbers would be those numbers that add to 1 and 4 as calendar dates, followed by the 8, 17, and 26. Now, sometimes in numerology, we say certain numbers rule certain days or represent certain days. So 8 is Saturn for Saturday. 1 is Sunday. 4 connects to Sunday. 2 and 7 connect to Monday. So you might be looking at Sundays, Mondays, and Saturdays to see if those numbers fall on those dates. But what I also tell people is don't let the numbers or the stars control you. Use your inner sight. And that's why you need meditation, because sometimes Um, some people say, well, don't practice rituals during a full moon. Suppose you're born during the full moon. Now what? Maybe you're born after the full moon. So maybe things are more powerful for you from the full moon until 4 or 5 days after the full moon. Not everybody can be in every cycle all the time. You got to find the cycle that works best for you. And if you get deep enough inside yourself and understand who you are, you can kind of break the rules a little bit. Hmm. Now, you could look at that symbolically too. Water is emotions. Fly takes you into the air. So the mind, you have control over your emotions and you have control over your mind. You can walk through emotional things, things that are, you might be dealing with people who are highly emotional, but might have the power to manipulate that energy to your advantage so you're not wounded by it. You have the power to fly through the mental process so you're not beaten down mentally. There's different ways in which you could look at it. The power comes from the force itself. The force is something that you can barely detect or see. The power is the outward expression of that force. So there's an outward expression of water, there's an outward expression of air. Now, there's elements become masculine and feminine. Usually, water gets the feminine vibration, earth gets the feminine vibration, air and fire get the masculine vibration. So it might be telling you to work with that energy so that they complement each other. Usually, earth connects to water better because think of water creating mud with the water, with the earth, and then you can form a vessel to hold it. When you're dealing with air, air is fleeting, right? Now you're dealing with a fire, enough fire with enough air going, make the fire spread. Yes, polarity. So you want to get that. You can study different things. This is the great thing about astrology is a metaphysical, and numerology is a metaphysical science to deal with. It makes you go into other things. So you can study the elements. How do the elements work? You can study crystals. I wrote a book on selenite called The Age of Remembrance, The Divine I Am Presence in Selenite. It's about how I came in touch with it. And I've realized over the years, I wasn't going out buying the selenite. The trace mineral in my body needed selenite. The trace mineral in my body is selenium. I needed more selenium. So since I didn't eat vegetables and shellfish and things to get it in there, my body said, "Go get me some selenite and wear it." Now the energy is on the body, and the body is absorbing or is reigniting the selenium in the body. Now I say, okay, I need to have. I can't eat shrimp. What can I eat? Because I'm allergic to shrimp. Spinach. Popeye the Sailor Man had an idea, huh? Eat me spinach, got a straw. So you find those things that you can consume into your body to service the lack of selenium to make it stronger in your body so your body becomes more flexible and youthful in appearance. So we take the element. Dreams is another thing. Dreams have a lot of information. Dreams are talking to you in different ways. Dreams can cover your physical life, how you relate on the earth, how you're oriented to the earth. It could talk about your emotional side, talk about your mental side, your mental self, your spiritual self, your ethereal self, the causal, like cause and effect. It can go into that. You can go into precognitive kind of information, right? You get information. That's what someone said in here ahead of time. Either E. Strom said it or maybe you said it, Lone Star Music. You might have said it too. Where you're picking up. Yeah, you said intuition. You're picking up information ahead of time. So your dream could be in the world of psychology. They call it precognitive. That means knowing beforehand. You're seeing something happening before it physically takes place. But interesting factor is if you go deeper into it, and from a metaphysician's standpoint, that which has already happened can happen if you align yourself to it. In other words, you align yourself where it's not out here, but it's like this. It's not over here. It's like this. Now, because you put your thought on it enough times and you think about it enough times, you're telling the universe to give you more experiences connected to that. Now you start experiencing. That's just like you meditate. You might live in an environment that's kind of rowdy. Doesn't mean that it's negative, but there's always something going on. You can't seem to get peace. So in your meditation, once you get calm with your breathing, in your meditation, you start envisioning, or envisioning means to have the vision on the inside to create the image that you want to experience outside of you. So let's say you say, okay, usually the neighborhood is kicking with a lot of sound, but I'm creating a peaceful environment. So that means from the time you wake up out of that dream, you're creating peace in your residence, peace outside. Maybe you live in an apartment complex, normally rowdy, peace. Means everybody that sees you, all they see is peace. Everybody that you see, they got a friendly face. Then you step outside your residence and you notice everybody's doing what they're doing, but they're in a state of peace. Step into your car or whatever. Maybe you walk down the street to hit the bus or subway or train. Peaceful. You have created, you have told the elements around you to create that peace for you. And because you did that, you contributed to the world. You brought more peace because you projected that from yourself. And all you were looking for was that same energy to come back to you. So we could, that's why they say, like, the more we get into technology is to make everything easier. The technology is based on us. Once we learn that, eventually we'll still use it, but we're supposed to take the inner technology and raise that up so that you could have realize that we're all connected atomically and molecular structures. We all are connected in the same frequency in the same area where we eventually overcome the heavy use of computers and cell phones. Our computer is up here, but we got tons of other computer components. The heart chakra, all these chakras are component parts. We learn how to master them ourselves, then we won't be mastered. We won't be overridden by electricity and magnetism. Yeah, we'll use shungite pieces to bring down the uh, the radioactive material that pops up, right? We use orgonite pieces to do the same. You place them around your computers or on your phones. Maybe you wear a ring or you wear a necklace. What to block that energy, keep it off your system, keep it out of your system. There's a lot of things that goes on while you are asleep. A lot. Sometimes you may not sleep because you could feel something tuning in or tuning on to you. So you learn how to basically combat that by learning how to shield within your space more. And that's why, like in my residence, I'm adding more crystals in and vibing up the place. Yeah, when you shut it off, that's one less frequency that's in your space. Now you're rising above. I do things like I don't turn on my TV set that much anymore because I want it to be quiet. But here's another thing: you have your phone off. Can you imagine and understand how the frequency of the phones are? You want to be able to keep everybody else's frequency out of your space. So that's why you want to meditate, to raise your personal auric field, get it higher, get the energy shielded out more so it's not on top of you. Then you keep other people's frequency away from you. So that's why it's good sometimes not to have phones in the same room. If you can't, put them in another room if you can. If you can, it's okay, then shut it off, or put it somewhere where it's not going to be interfering with you. Maybe have gemstones and things like that in your bedroom to help shield or cut down the energy. The more, the better. People who live near radio towers get a lot of negative energy. Uh, about a 20-minute walk or a 6-minute drive, a 2-minute drive, 4-minute drive up the road, there's a train station where I live in this area, North Valley of Albuquerque, runs north and south, runs right up to Santa Fe. But those enclosed electrical units are giving off a lot of energy. People that live closer there, they're probably more affected than those of us that live further away. Cell phone towers. Sometimes I walk by a cell phone tower and I get, I gotta like stay across the street. Walking by it is not helping me. Then where they have the tower at, there are little food eateries around there. I said, man, that must be affecting the people in there. But for the most part, I see people come out and calm, but it is affecting them. So we gotta like pay attention to these places. Sometimes they can affect, and this is why people say having either have plants or crystals or organite things in your home to deaden all of that stuff, all those different frequencies that can get you sick. This is why I say to try to exercise a little bit. So for myself, I'm going back to doing Tai Chi. Why? Not just to limber up my body, but increase my level of sensitivity. So I can tell what's in front of me and what's behind me more. Is it positive energy, off energy, sick energy? All these things we got to do to make ourselves better. Who else has a comment? Now, I'm going to get back to Marie's question. She said, what are the best dates or important dates? You can do that through astrology. In numerology, we would use the universal dates, universal month. So we're in 2022. Reduce those 4 digits to the number six. So 2022 is a universal 6 year. Mainly people born in the sign of Libra and Taurus might have more work to do with themselves, increasing their own abilities, seek more peace, harmony, and happiness. People born in the 6th month, which is June, that takes you into Gemini and Cancer, they would be the second level of people that could need some more work with themselves, but working with family structures and things of that nature, and learn how to love themselves more. Then, if you take that six and now add that to any particular calendar day, you'd want to harmonize the six with like numbers threes and nines. So we're already, today was you added the six to today's date, three is a nine. So today's date would have been more like trying to have peace. Yeah, the number on your home. That's in my book too. The number on your home can tell you the type of people, which I'm gonna go over that a little bit. I'm glad you brought that up. So, like today was a universal 9. So tomorrow, calendar date is 4. You add the 6 to 4. Tomorrow will be a universal 1. But the days that you want are numbers that are connected to 3, 6, and 9. This is a universal 6. So you want a universal 6 day, a universal 3 day, a universal 9 day. So the way to get that is look all the calendar dates that add to 3, because that'll give you a 9. To give you a 6 or a 15 or a 24, that will give you a 3, because you're adding the 6 to those dates, and that'll give you a universal 3. But the best way to do it is just go by your gut feeling. That way, you're not limiting yourself. You're just opening the door to have a better opportunity to not be limited or restricted. So, for instance, all right, 6948. Well, you can interpret the numbers individually, but what I do is first I add them. So you look here, 6 and 9 is 15, 4 and 8 is 12. That's 27, which is a 9. So what that basically would tell me is 9 is a number, might be a number of beginnings and endings, but it's also a number of visions when you look out into the future. You're looking at what's closed, but you're looking out into the future. 9 is Mars, like 16 is a Mars number. So the 9 means people who are drawn to travel, people who like to have good debates and arguments positively, people who are warriors. They could be the physical warrior or the spiritual warrior. 9 also means they could be competitive. So people in your household might like playing a good game of cards, competition, game boards, things of that nature. Okay. 9 takes on humanitarian qualities just like a number 22 does. So 9 likes to see the full spectrum of things. So 9 will bring you Aries and Scorpio people into your home first. What you're looking at is just for, you might look at the negative or the downside, but you always want to look at the positive side. So the positive side of the 9 is to be helpful, sportsmanship, things of that nature, to be a good leader, willing to know all the ins and outs, just like Pisces represents all the 12 other 11 signs in the zodiac plus itself. The number 9 represents all the other numbers 1 through 8 plus itself. So you see a bigger picture when you have 9. Okay, now I had the number 27, which is the compound number that I found there. So that 27 means that you look at things in a detailed format. And you do with the 27, you're about transforming minds, transforming lives at that particular number. So if you have people coming over, it's about educating them. Again, having a healthy conversation, a healthy debate, but always change for the better. You would like to have a better version of yourself. That's what that 27 behind that 9 is. Now you can look at numbers individually. The 6 is Venus. You got the 9 there, right? 6 is Venus, 9 is Mars, 4 is Uranus, and 8 is Saturn. So individually, it's attract people under the sign of Venus, Libra, and Taurus. 9 is there. We already know predominantly it's going to attract Aries and Scorpio. 4 is going to attract Aquarius people. Maybe sometimes a Leo might be in there. And 8 is going to attract Capricorn nature people. But the 6 is what? Family. 9 is the entire scene. 4 is the home environment. It's also talking about orderliness or chaos. 8 is elders. So elders would work well in that house. They bring a lot of wisdom. Or it might tell people in that house to gather the wisdom. It might tell people in that house with the number 4 is to be more orderly and not disorganized. Maybe to work with the nature of divine orders, right? Study, basically. To be different is with the 4. 9, healthy competition. That's helpful. Knowing all things, everything. Because 9 is bringing it all together, see? 6 is family would come first. This is why it's the first number that you write. When you write the address, you don't write 8496, you write 6948. So that just gives you a basic idea. But you're trying to take the number and reduce it to a single digit first. But if you find a compound number and can interpret it, then interpret it. So we say 27. You say 20 and then the number 7. So 20 has a meaning too. That's like a Pluto kind of number. That means that person can see things. That's another form of a visionary. Then the 7, they got the emotional, the water element, the psychic element to connect with. 7 could tell you to study the 7 chakras, the 7 musical tones, and then some. Again, they're different ways. You can look at these numbers 6, 9, 4, and 8. If you're, let's say, into astrology, you can look at just the house numbers of astrology. The sixth house, the ninth house, what that means. The fourth house, what that means. The eighth house, what that means. See, so once you know what the numbers mean, now you can play. Now you can plug them into different situations. But you have to get some of the basic meanings of the numbers down pat and get comfortable with it. I always used to, in the past, I used to teach my students, I would go, if you could give me 3 positive meanings to a number, then give me the exact opposite of what you just said to bring out what could be the opposing. Yes. So you would see all of that. Uh, or sixth astrological sign, ninth astrological sign, fourth astrological sign, eighth astrological sign. There's a lot of different ways. The sixth astrological sign probably puts you in the Virgo. 9 astrological sign would be what? Um, Sagittarius. Fourth astrological sign is Cancer. Eighth astrological sign is Scorpio. So these are different little nuances that can help you describe the kind of not just personalities but situations that take place at that house number. Now, suppose that house number was on a numerical street, then you might say, okay, everything on that street is catching this kind of number. But then when you get to my house, that's what's going on here. So this could work in a residential, could work in a business format. There are cross streets where the numbers are. Like Avenue, let's say, and if you're from Brooklyn, you got Avenue A, Avenue this, letters. Those letters mean something. But it just gives a storm coming through. It just gives you some insight into what's going on, how to play around with things, and then build. Okay. The whole idea is just be consistent as possible. That's important. If you can be consistent, then you're teaching yourself how to use the number to make it work. You don't want to get too out in front of yourself because you want to like hold some of that information. Doesn't mean that you don't want to share it, but maybe there's something else you're supposed to do with it. And that's important. Yeah, so you want to just play with things, have fun with it. That's why I tell my students all the time. I don't take myself seriously. That's why I laugh a lot through the teaching process, because I want to have fun while I'm teaching. I can't teach it being serious. You know, everybody's got that already. The more seriousness there is, the more tiring, the more boring it becomes. But if you can have fun with it, make yourself laugh, make a class laugh, joy. I mean, we learn more from happiness than we learn from sadness. You learn from sadness, but most of the time you're trying to keep that away from you. It's the joy that you're trying to bring into your life. And if you can get that going, you can conquer a lot of things because what keeping your energy up. We know when it's sad, it weighs us down. Yeah. Well, the course, I'm planning on starting it in my mind on Wednesday, February the 1st. The course is, I have it on my website, is listed for $400, but I'm not taking any payments until January. So if people start paying in January, they can get it for $297, which you can break it. I'm willing to work with installments. If you start giving me an installment payment on that 297, then I accept your payment in total for 297. But if you wait, too late, like within a week time, then you got to pay the 400. But I'm not that kind of intense. I want people to get it. Okay, so we just put my website in here. I'm gonna get ready to sign off. I'm gonna catch a little nap myself. This is my website, and again, you want to get that information as soon as you see it. You want to look under. There's a section in my website, and let me just drop onto my own page. I'll tell you exactly where it is, so you can find it. Hold on. Let me go to my website. You can still see me. And it's called Brother Francis Seeker's Journey. So I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to copy the link, and I'm going to come back over here and give you the exact link. Okay, that's my website, but here's the exact link that you need. And if you use that entire link, and so it doesn't change, I'll put that little line. If you use this entire link, that will take you to a section called Brother Francis Seeker's Journey, like, and you look for courses. You keep scrolling down, and then you see the courses. The first page that comes up on the website is the 5 point creative pathwork series and system, and there's learning how to use meditation, affirmations, prayers, affirmative prayers, and decrees. That's a whole nother course. A lot of people are taking that one on one right now. Maybe come the springtime, I might stick that course out there as well. So we're going to start like in the winter time frame with the numerology, and then later I'll kick this other one out, um, put it out there. But if you go there, you can see all the courses, what they're starting. I'm working on the numerology course now. That's why I don't want to start it until February. I will look forward if you email anybody that was on here, if you email me at iam.circleofgrace with the number one at the end at gmail.com. I can give you some more information about things that I'm doing so you can pick and choose. Okay. The numerology course, I want to teach it as a group format because when you teach it as a group format, you got everybody's got some insight about numerology, and as students you can share that with each other, and I can give you some additional help. Plus I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to make it a 10-week course back to back, or if I'm going to open it up to 13, like the number of chapters that I have. But I also like to give out, hey, greetings there, SL. I like to give out information after the course. So that means I like to give out some audio versions of things that give me some tidbits and some additional video stuff. We'll be using my Zoom platform for this course, and I may give it out so each person has a password. It might be a different password every week. That way, the only people that will be there will be the people that will have paid to get into this course. I'm looking for no more than 10 or 15 people so everybody gets this information. Okay, and like I said, I'm the type of teacher. I'm gonna make sure you get the information. So, and the good thing about it, if I can keep it to 15 people in the course, because you pay into the course. Now, if it happens to go up a little higher, so be it. But if I could teach with that nice number, we get 90 minutes in, you'll be able to get this information. Also, you get within 24 hours, because I'm recording it onto my equipment. Within 24 hours, everybody that's in the course every week, you'll get that full session, recorded video session, so you can go through it yourself. That's why I want to make it a back to back, because in 24 hours, you get the session that we just taught live. So you can bone up on the information, you see, and that way you'll stay up to par as I'm bringing the information out. So now, if it only happens I get 5 people, I'm still gonna teach. If I only got 4 people, I'm still gonna teach. Why? Because if I don't teach it, my ancestors will be going like, "Come here, young man." So I want to teach it in a group format, because then you all can interact with each other. And I don't have a problem with that. This is copyrighted information. I don't have no problem with sharing it. You're just using it for your personal, you know, views on how you're using numerology. If there's some technique I got in there, of course, you got to get my written permission, and it won't be electronically. It'll actually be in an email or a letter sent to your home. Yeah, I just want to make sure you get it. Okay, so thank you for joining me. You could replay this back. There's a lot of good information on here tonight, and been on about 90 minutes. I had a pretty long day because I had to teach somebody online. But again, thank you for joining me. Now, the reason why you seem to see me popping on at different times, because I haven't made up in my mind yet how I'm going to do these podcasts that I'm doing. So far, I've come on a Sunday night the first time around. This is, I think, the first time I did a Monday night, and then I did one on a Thursday night. So I don't know yet. And plus, once I start teaching, that means I'm going to be using my vocal cords a lot. So then these podcasts are not going to be like every week. And if they are, they'll be really short. Yeah. So I want to make sure uh, I get it out. So I'll just say it again. I'm planning to teach in group format. The key to life is numerology. But I'm not going to do it until February the 1st. That's the date I have in mind. Now, if some of you, don't worry, you're going to be in touch. Um, what I want you to understand is I work according to what my ancestors tell me to do. So I've confided all weekend. I said, we got to make this consistent. So if I happen to be teaching numerology on a Wednesday night, then that means I will probably podcast on a Sunday night or a Monday night to give myself a little room, you see, because I don't want to overdo it. Or I might podcast on a Thursday night. The reason I haven't chose a Thursday night in February, because my birthday shows up on a Thursday in March. March the 16th. It means I have to skip a day. I really don't want to skip. Okay, I want to be consistent every week so everybody's getting the information. All what is also good here too, yes, and SL, everybody that's on here, you should email me so I make sure I have you in my email list. So let me put my email instead of stating it. Copy down this email, because once I have you in my system, then I'll be putting it out that way as well as coming on. Okay. So that's my email. If you email me there, just say put me on your list for your courses. Okay. And then I'll do that. And then you know which ones come out when and how much they cost, how much you pay for them, and how you can go about paying them. I believe that oh, you're welcome, East Stormo. I want to make sure people get the information. Now, a lot of my business colleagues, they'll go like, nah, you got to charge this. That. Well, look, we're living in a time where things are changing. Not everybody can pay $1,000 for a course. And me, I grew up the old fashioned way. If I ain't sleeping at night, I charge the wrong fee. So I charge a comfortable fee, but you can pay it in installments. That means if you missed the early bird fee sometime in January for this course and you started in February, the course is 400, but you can still break it up in installments. And I'll give you all the installment ways you can do it. You can split it into 4 payments. You can break it down into 8 if you need. I want you to get the information. You do it 10 times until you pay it. $40, 10 times. I'm trying. I want to be in service. That's what I'm saying. I'm in service to give you this information. And I'm 70 years old now. I'm in fact at the end of this month I'm heading out to Arizona to be with my little nieces and nephews. This will be the first time they get to see me in person. I'll be checking them out to see who's psychic, who's got the gift. And once I find the one that's got the gift, I start grooming them with the gift, with meditation and things in a joyful manner. So, I got tons of books I want to leave them. That's why I'm writing these books. In 2024, I want to come out with a book on meditation, 7 different ways to connect with your higher self. So I'm working on all these books, and you can check for books on my website. Just look on the books on Amazon and click onto the Amazon. It'll take you there. When you get to Amazon, you can click the name Francis E. Revels-Bey. You click the name, and it'll show you all my books. Don't worry, we got to wait for that too. There's something I'm going to start also. I didn't say it yet. I have to figure out how I'm going to do it. Okay, so don't worry, you're not going to miss anything. S.L. Hubbard, Brother Francis got a way of helping that out. Uh, you know, I might start a sort of like a intuition, not an intuition, but a tuition program. So you can get it. You won't get the same exact information, but you'll get a much smaller format that I could give you. I might give you an introductory class in different ways. I have introductory classes that start like with $88. You can bust that down into, $22 4 times, and I give you a little synopsis of the course. The whole idea is to help you utilize this information to the best of your ability. So, and if you want S.L. Hubbard, you can participate when you can. Oh, thank you, Marae. Marae's been around me a long time. She'll tell you. You can participate if you can on Tuesday, October the 12th. Tuesday, October the 12th will be, I think it's what's the day? The day is the 3rd. Tuesday is the 4th. Yeah, so on the October the 11th, on Tuesday, October the 11th, I have my free intensive training class. That's free. There's a different topic taught every month. This one coming up will be on psychic development and the different things that will help you get there. Those are free. So if you can participate with that, that's why send me. I need everybody on here to send me an email, and I'll show you the different things that I teach. Then you can join that. I mean, it's still information, still out there helping you. That's what I'm here for. Okay, so thank you very much for this evening. Soon as we can figure out what's the best time, then we'll make it a regular where this podcast is on regular. One of the things is I have to come on later because if you're on the East Coast, Lloyd has got his things. I don't want to ride on top of him. I want to give some gap in there, see, so people can get this information and not be overwhelmed. I don't want to teach at the same time that he's teaching because I live out here in Arizona. I live out here in New Mexico. So 7 p.m. East Coast is 5 p.m. for me. So I can't come on at 5. I have to come on later. That's the whole key in a nutshell. So I know I came on later, which is about, if you're on the East Coast, it was what, 11 o'clock. So try not to come on too late. Try to put it in a time when you can get it. Thank you so much. My grace is your grace. Until next time, remember that divine grace is a blessing as we're alive and well in the age of remembrance. Email me so I can get to know you and we can find out some other things you might have an interest in that I might be able to teach you, or I could tell you where you can go get the information. Take care, everybody. Be well.